Hello and welcome back. Today we are going through another coding exercise that we can practice a little bit more the if conditions. So we need to write a program that reads a number from the user, preferably a non-negative number, and calculate its square root. In order to break down this program is that firstly we need to read one number, then we store the number, and then we check if this number is a non-negative number, and if it's not a non-negative number, we calculate its square root. And if you remember from previous section, we had the square root library function in C++. So we can easily let C++ to do that part. We just need to call it. So let's dive in. Here we initialize a double called number. We show a message to the user saying that enter a non-negative number, and then we store it using cin function. Then we go through the if condition. So if number is smaller than 0, we need to return an error to the user saying that, okay, you're using one invalid input. So please not do that. So here it goes to this statement and says that invalid input. Else means that any number above 0, which is the case, which is what we are looking for. Else, then here we compute the square root of the number and we assign it to a new double initialized here that is named result. Then in the next line, we print out the result. So let's try and compile and see how it works. So enter a non-negative number. I would say like 16. The square root is 4. So let's go through the procedure through the code. Show a message. We enter a number. It is stored using cin function. Then it goes to the first if condition, like if number smaller than 0. Does this pass? No, because it's not the case. So it escapes this part and goes for the else. Then in the else part, because it makes sense, it goes through the condition and calculate the square root, assign it to result, and then show the result here to us. So let's try it another time. Enter a non-negative number, I would say 25. So this time gives us 5. In order to check the other if condition, like what if we choose an invalid input, I would say like -5. Okay, it says invalid input. So that if condition is working correctly. One important thing to note is that when we are considering if conditions, it's nice when we want to test the efficiency, and when we want to test the efficiency of the code or verification of the code, it would be nice to test it with different input values and make sure all the if conditions are working greatly and working correctly. This is very important thing, because later when we have like a lot of lines of code, if something goes wrong, it's very hard to find it. We need to go through the debugging steps that we learn in another probably topic, like for the intermediate or advanced level. But this is something to note, that now that we are learning from 0, it's important to know that we need to validate our code as we are proceeding through the coding.